with the, for the development, we are using Spring Boot for the microservices.
Okay. Okay, have you worked on Java 8?
Yes, since starting of my career, all my projects were based on Java 8 only.
Okay. Okay, what are the advantages of Java 8?
Shalini, you are, your voice is breaking, but I couldn't hear your question. Is it you are asking about advantage of using Java 8?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see in Java 8, many features were introduced like functional interfaces, lambda expression, if you see, and then if I talk about stream API in enhancement, collection API enhancement, date time API. If you see, one of the mainly, I would say, our comparator interface enhancement. So earlier you have only 2 or 3 methods in comparator interface, but now you are having, I think, 70 to 18 static interfaces in comparator interface. So
Okay.
there are many advantages using Java 8. Mainly, the development work shifted towards to the functional programming. Now we can write functional programming in Java, because Java used to be an object-oriented programming in the past, and it is. But yeah, just because of lambdas, we can write some functional programming as well in Java.
Okay. Okay, what is meta space?
Meta space. I'm not familiar with this term. Meta
Okay.
space.
Okay, what is functional interface?
Functional interface is an interface having only one abstract method declaration in it. So in Java 8 only we are having some functional interface like predicate, supplier, consumer. Before Java 8 we used to have this runnable interface, which is a functional interface, but yeah, now Java 8 developers tagged it at the rate functional interface.
Okay. Okay, what is lambda expression?
Lambda is actually the implementation of functional interface only. So if I say in a fewer words, this is basically you write down implementation of anonymous class, okay, and you named it as some variable, and that variable will be named as lambda, and you can pass this variable as a parameter to some other method. So lambda basically enables you to write a functional programming. Earlier what you were doing, you were passing the implementation, the instance of interfaces. You are passing the code where the implementation is written. You are passing the implementation class in the function, but now you can pass the action itself in the parameters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what is the difference between intermediate and terminal operator?
Intermediate operations basically convert a stream, perform some operation, and give you output of as output you will be getting a stream only. They will not give you the end result, but terminal operation will give you end results in terms of set or list, whatever you want to. In whatever format you want to convert, you can convert it by using collect method. But in intermediate method, operation will be done, but it will not give you the end result. You will be getting a stream only. So there are many functions like filter, uh, map. These are only intermediate operation in streams.
Okay. Okay, what is a map and flat map?
Okay, so both are intermediate operations. In map, you are actually transforming one object to another object. Okay, in flat map, you are transforming as well as you are aggregating. So you have a two list and you want to convert in a single list, then you have to use flat map. So you are aggregating a number of lists into the single list. So then we have to use this flat map. It's actually flattering the input value into the output. So you have multiple input. You want to convert it in single list or single stream. Then you have to use this flat map.
Okay. Okay, what is the difference between fail safe and fail fast iterator in Java?
Fail safe and fail fast. Okay, so fail fast, I would say, if you try to modify an object when iterating, and it will give you a concurrent modification exception right away. So this is actually a fail fast, which will not allow you to modify the object in between the iteration. Okay, so this is actually fail fast iteration, I would say. And fail safe is actually, it will not give you the concurrent modification exception. It will allow you to modify the copy of the object, and I mean, it will allow you to modify the um the object between the iteration. So basically, this is called a fail safe iterator, I would say.
Okay. Okay, what is the difference between hash map and
Hash map and
table?
hash table. Okay.
Hash table. Yeah.
Hash table is actually synchronized. Hash map is not synchronized. So whenever there is multi-threading involved, performance issue will be there. So hash table has less performance than hash map. Hash map give you a better performance. In hash map, you have this key and value pair. In hash table, you also have this table, but mainly the problem is with the synchronization and thread safety. So hash map is not thread safe, and also there is no synchronization in hash map, but hash table have a synchronized, or there is thread safe, I would say.
Okay. Okay, tell me what is the difference between array list and linked list?
Array list is and link list. Okay.
Yeah.
And not much difference. So link, I mean, both are the implementation of list interface. In both, we preserve the insertion order. It just linked list, I mean, you have a data structure which work on a node. Okay, so linked list is based on so whenever your requirement is to search the element, you can use array list because it implement the random access interface. But linked list doesn't implement this. So in linked list, the advantage is whenever you want to insert or delete some node from in between. Okay, so whenever you want to perform some addition or modification in the I mean in the object in between, you will use this linked list. And whenever you want to search based operation, for that you will use the array list.
Which one is better?
So this depends on your requirement. I mean, if your requirement is just to find, I mean, just to search the object, just to fetch the object, for that array list is better because it implements the random access interface. But if your requirement is to put some element in the list, so for that you need to use this linked list, because linked list have this node. I mean, in between you can insert the element. It will not take much time. But in array, if you want to insert the element, it will traverse from 0 to the last node, and then it will add you. So this is the difference basically. So this totally depends on the requirement. So which one is better?
Okay. 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 Which one? Tell me the difference between comparable and comparator.
Comparable and comparator. Okay. So comparable is basically interface. I mean, both our interfaces are used to give you the sorting capability of your objects. But comparable is I mean, if you want basically used for primitives, this comparable. And comparator is used to write the custom implementation of sorting. Okay, so you have a class, and if you want to give the sorting capability to your class, you need to write comparator for this class. But if you have a jar itself, you cannot modify the class content. Then you need to write the comparator itself for sorting.
Okay. Okay, have you worked on thread?
Thread, yes, thread I have worked.
Okay, what is thread?
Thread is, I would say, a separate process. I mean, it's a lightweight process which will execute in parallel. I mean, it will not disturb the execution of your main thread. It can be executed in a parallel processing. So it is useful in a multi-threading environment. You can divide your task using this threads to improve your performance, the performance of your application. So multiple threads can work on your task parallelly.
Okay. Okay, tell me the difference between star and run method in thread classes.
I couldn't hear you. Sorry, can you come up again?
Tell me the difference between start and run method in thread class.
Okay, so run method is basically is the implementation of runnable interface. So in thread class run method, we write the implementation, right, using this runnable interface. Thread class also do the same. Thread class also implement the run interface, but start method is do some background task of thread class only. So whenever you are using thread class to implement multi-threading, you need to first call the start method, because then only you will be able to implement this multi-threading. And run method, you write the task that you want to start with this multi-threading. So run method uh, will include this implementation of your task, but start method you don't have to do anything. You just call thread.start, and start method will do some background processing which is required to run a thread.
Okay, tell me the thread life cycle.
So when you call this start method, then your thread will go into the runnable state. It is not running, but it will first go to the runnable state. Based on that, thread scheduler will see the priority. Based on priority, thread scheduler will will create a run, will transfer the thread state to the running state. Okay, so one thread is running, and then suppose your task is done, then this thread will be go into dead state once your task is done. And if you call between a sleep or wait method, then your thread will go into the pause state. If you call sleep you have to define some time. For that time your thread will sleep. It will not release the lock, but it will sleep for that specified time. And if you call wait, then it will release the lock and it will wait until another thread or some other thread call notify or notify all method.
Okay, what is transient variable?
Transient variable, so it is related to serialization process. So suppose you have an object, and in object you have multiple fields, and in that object you do not want to
Are you sure?
Sorry, am I audible?
Yeah.
So I was telling that if you have multiple fields in your class object, and if you do not want to serialize one of its fields, then you will mark it at the rate transient. So once your object will be deserialized, after serialization you will get a default value for that field, not the actual value. So for that purpose we use this transient keyword.
Are you sure the transient variable are part of serialization process?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sure because I've used it.
Okay, what is volatile variable?
Volatile.
Yeah.
Okay, so volatile is also, I mean, one of the concept which is used in multi-threading. So it is basically used for, I think, visibility issues. Okay, suppose you have a variable and you define in one of the thread, you define some condition while variable is true, execute this. And suppose that some other thread is also working and some other thread modified that variable. but your previous thread is not able to get the modified value. Okay, so then there will be some problem, visibility issues, because they are not using the shared cache, they are using their local cache. So in local cache, whenever they start the execution, that value is only saved. So to resolve that issue, we use this volatile keyword. After using this volatile keyword, thread will using the shared cache only. In that there will be updated value only for that variable on which this volatile keyword is used. So this will resolve the visibility issues in multi-threading. That's why I use volatile.
Okay. Okay. What is the difference between aggregation and composition concept in Java?
Aggregation and composition concept. I am not able to recall. Sorry, I have to read this. I mean, from.
Okay.
Can you little bit explain if I can get the context in which you are asking, so I can try to answer it, but currently I'm not able to recall.
Okay, which one is tightly coupling? Do you know which one is tightly coupling, aggregation or composition?
I have to read about it. I'm sorry. This is not. I will read it.
Okay. Can we declare the constructor as final in Java? Yes or no?
Constructor. No, we cannot declare, because there is no sense. Declaring a constructor. We cannot override the constructor, right? And final is the keyword which will stop other classes, subclasses to override the method or override the class. If we are not able to override, then what is the sense of writing this final? So I think we cannot. If we try, I think there will be a compilation error.
Okay. Can we override the static method?
Static method, no, we cannot override.
Okay. Can we overload the static method?
Yes, we can overload, but we cannot override, because static methods are class property, not the object instance property.
Can we override the constructor?
No.
Okay. Have you worked on Spring Boot?
Yes. Currently I'm working on Spring Boot only to develop these microservice applications.
And Spring?
Spring I've worked. It has been time, like 3 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I have idea.
Can I ask some question? Okay. Can I ask some question for Spring Boot?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. What is IOC in Spring?
So it's an inversion of control. This is the base concept for which we use this Spring. Okay. So what we used to do, we used to whenever we used to define an object like class name object equal to new object class name. Okay, so there will be tight coupling of dependency. And now using this IOC concept, we are actually telling Spring to create the object instead of taking that responsibility on the developer. Yeah.
Okay, what are the benefits of Spring framework?
So this is the biggest advantage, because you do not have to maintain the dependency. Spring will maintain the dependency management. Okay, Spring will give you the object and all this using this dependency injection. If I talk about in indexing method, there is Spring eliminates a lot of boilerplate code. I'm using right now this Spring Boot, so you can see Spring Boot you have many starter dependency. I do not have to worry about what dependency, what version I have to include in my project. Spring will take care of it. Spring Boot will take care of it. So dependency management is the biggest advantage, I would say. Also Spring Boot, we are using this embedded server, so we do not have to include the external server if required. So yeah.
Okay, Spring Boot application annotation.
Sorry?
What do you mean by Spring Boot application annotation?
Okay, yeah. So actually, this is the combination of three annotation. First is enable auto configuration. Second is @configuration. Third is @component scan. So it will
Okay.
actually read all the all the dependency which we write in a
O-
pom.xml, and it will auto configure. It will scan all the
Okay.
class path. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, what is the difference between HTTP put and HTTP patch method?
HTTP put we have used. I haven't used patch method, so I could not tell you the difference. But put we have used to update the entity in our database.
Okay. Okay. What is the use of request body annotation?
So Shalini, your voice is breaking. Can you come up again, please?
Okay. Okay. What is the use of request body annotation in Spring Boot?
Request body. Okay. So whenever you are using this post method, you need some input from the client side. Okay, to create entity. And to create entity, the client side will give you the response in the JSON format. So to get that uh, body to our this in our application as an input, we use this request body annotation. So it will uh, take that input from the JSON format, and it will convert the JSON format into the Java object.
Okay. 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 What is the difference between controller and REST controller in Spring Boot?
So controller is actually used to be in Spring MVC. REST controller we use in Spring Boot. So REST controller is the combination of controller and this response body. So in response body, you define this JSON and XML format. So in Spring Boot, automatically it will detect. I mean, it will include the uh, type also in the response body. And earlier we used to define explicitly the type of the data.
Okay. 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 What is controller advice?
Controller advice. It is used in exception handling in Spring Boot. So whenever you write a controller advice, so in that class you will define some exception handling methods and exception handler methods. So basically, whenever there is some exception occur, you will write the custom exception, and you will write a method exception handler. Then you can write some custom implementation of exception handling. Otherwise you will be having this 500 internal error only, um, while there is some error while using the client. But if you define some proper exception handling code using this controller advice and exception handler, then you can give some custom messages to the client. So user will get to know that, okay, what is the error, if there is data not found, data is not correct, input is not correct, something like that. I mean, custom message you can
Okay. Okay.
show to the client.
Okay. Okay. Have you worked on Hibernate?
Yes, yes. So currently in our project we are using this string data JPA, which is actually internally using this Hibernate only, and top of that, so we are using
Okay. 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 Is the session object thread safe in Hibernate? Yes or no?
session object is thread safe in Hibernate. No idea. I mean, if I
Okay.
say yes, if I say no, actually I do not. I have no idea. If I bluff you, there's no sense.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay. What is the second level caching in
Your voice is breaking, but I couldn't hear the question. You are asking about first level and second level cache. Is that right?
LC? What is second level caching in Hibernate?
Okay, okay. So see, whenever you are using Hibernate, you are hitting some query to the database. So by using this second level concept, you can use uh, the cache across the sessions. So you hit the database, you get some results. Your results are saved in the cache, But if you are not using second level cache, and if you close the session, you cannot use that cache
Okay.
mechanism to across the sessions. So by using a second level
Okay.
cache, we can use. I think
Okay.
cache is
Okay.
is a provider. Some provider are providing this mechanism.
Have you worked on? Okay. Okay. Have you worked on Angular?
No. I do not have experience on in UI side, but I'm learning that because it is also required to be a full stack developer. I'm learning not
Okay.
Angular, but I'm
Okay.
starting
Okay.
learning. Yeah.
Okay. Have you worked on microservices?
Yes. I work.
Okay. Okay. What is aggregation design pattern in microservices?
Aggregation pattern,
Aggregator design pattern.
aggregate design pattern. No idea. I mean,
Okay.
I've heard about Saga design pattern, but aggregator. Okay, it is
Okay.
it may be that I've used, but I'm not familiar with this name with the
Okay.
aggregator. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is circuit breaker design pattern?
Okay, so to provide resilience to our microservices, it is used circuit breaker design pattern. So whenever our one of microservices slow or not getting response or giving you late response, so what it will do, it will actually give you the fallback response. It will stop the circuit and it will give you the fallback response for some time.